but we need to talk about Thor. I do feel like we need to talk about Thor's journey. He got quite a lot of screen time, and there was quite a lot that happened to his character through here. So he kind of goes through, to be honest, let's face it, he really should have gone for the head. All right, there's no doubt here. End of Infinity War. If you're about to kill Thanos, okay, it's like cutting the head off a snake. You take the head.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you get rid of somebody quickly, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't do that. And Thanos says, should have gone to the head at the end of the Infinity War. And that's what kickstarts all this mess. So he's very much kind of guilt-ridden. He feels like he's to blame. He's the one that feels like responsible for what's happened. So he also feels like he's the person that needs to kill him. So immediately when they go back to kill the Thanos that is 616 Thanos, that happens immediately. Goes to the head. Okay, all right. But what happens there? We've solved nothing. And so we don't see that. We don't see Thor for a while, in that kind of first part of the movie almost. And we go to New Asgard, and then we get Fat Thor.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know if I have an issue with Fat Thor or not, but I understand that. I think there could have been probably another way of doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
he could have absolutely taken some drinks and been a drunk Thor without being fat.
Exactly that. I think there's two problems. One, they did it in a way where he looks like ridiculous. Like it looks too comical in a movie, which it precisely goes against the grain of looking like a comic movie. Do you know, like it's trying to feel dramatic. It's trying to feel, and then you got this random like caricature-esque character in the middle of it all. So that, but also the kind of the undertones of it all about finding people who are fat or obese or whatever you want to call it, like an opportunity for comedy. Right, yeah. There's that undertone which is difficult, and like you say, I think you could have had a drunk Thor, where that it's not even played for. I wouldn't even play it for comedy. You just feel sorry for him because he's gone for drink. He's completely made himself recluse. You didn't have to play it for comedy if you'd have gone down the kind of alcohol.
I think Chris Hemsworth does his role fairly well, but I think there's this. You can see there's a clear battle to Taika Waititi's comedy and the actual drama of what he's experiencing. The fact that he's got PTSD, the fact that he is guilt-ridden, the fact that he is built on rage and revenge, and he doesn't know how to manage his emotions, right? And that's Iron Man 3. All of that is Iron Man 3. And they managed to deal with it fairly brilliantly, I think. Well, okay, not brilliantly, but well.
Apart from, we'll admit the party scene. The weird party scene.
The weird party scene, apart from that. But like you can see that he's playing between this bits of really heightened comedy, physical comedy, visual comedies, and then he goes into kind of moments where he's almost about to go into tears because he's like, I'm the one that needs to do this. Please can we fix this? I'm Thor. I'm the God of Thunder. I don't feel like the God of Thunder. Am I still worthy? And then he has, when he goes back to his world in Asgard to retrieve the ether from Jane, who comes back. You see a shot of Natalie Portman.
Yes.
In this movie, who somehow managed to get back into the MCU. And I think it was from that point they started having talks with her again, if I'm right. But we see this lovely scene be played out with a reintroduction of Frigga, Thor's mum. And there is this, I honestly, this is probably one of my favourite scenes in the movie, where you see that he is quite clearly just going to his mum, for counsel, and Frigga is a witch, so she can see that it's not his Thor. She kind of reads into it quite instantly, like, I know that you're a Thor from the future. What's troubling you, son? I liked it. I loved it.
Did you? That scene, I love. That element, that part of it, that element of it for me, I don't know. I found it a bit jarring because she's a witch, she could see it, and that's fine. And also, even physically, she knew that wasn't the Thor that's fucking roaming around. You know what I mean? But but she kind of skirts over it well too quickly. I'm like, well,
yeah,
you'd find far more out though, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Even if you can see it and you know it is happening, you would absolutely be going, well, hang on a minute, what are you doing here though? Like, what is going on? That's
But I think she knows. I think she already knows. If you think of Frigga being this kind of like wise witch, that she's got like kind of like Agatha, what's her name? Agatha from WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Yeah, but she's got this. I think that's kind of her background. I don't know if it's exactly that's her powers, but she's got this kind of wisdom that's actually quite clear. I think she knows exactly who he is and why he's there and what she's meant to do. I think she knows herself that she's going to die. I think that kind of confirms to me, bringing her back into this scene, that she knows that her demise is soon. And I know Thor tries to stop it towards the end, but so the reason why I'm mentioning this bit is because I think this is where my favourite quote comes in. So it's from Frigga, and it's got to be one of the best bits of lines in MCU that I've heard that kind of rings really, really true. And I think as well, mate, thinking about it, this is a quote that really depicts the name of our podcast.
Oh, here we go.
In terms of don't be a hero, and the fact that we kind of, when we originally kind of pitched this idea, we want like, let's highlight the moments where it's about not thinking, okay, we as human beings right now on this planet need to think about how can we be superheroes, how can we be superhuman, but actually what qualities can we use within those people without having those kind of qualities, without those skills and talents and powers, but use them as humans. But she says this, right? Mate, it's so good, right? Isn't it? Frigga says this: everyone fails at who they're supposed to be, Thor. The measure of a person, of a hero, is how well they succeed at being who they are. Oh, it's a brilliant piece of writing.
That is absolutely gorgeous, mate.
It's just brilliant. It just hits you. It hits you. But like that's the quintessential kind of best bit of the movie in terms of a lovely, sweet character kind of development with Thor in particular as well. He gets some counsel with his mum and he moves on and he moves forward. But I think overall we do get some cool moments with Thor. I do think he does a good performance overall. I just see that there's this quite clear battle between a comedy Thor and a dramatic Thor, and they were kind of like fighting each other throughout this movie internally.
Yes, I would. If you played God of War,
I haven't, no.
God of War Ragnarok. Okay, so how Thor is portrayed in God of War Ragnarok, the game, and those who are listening and have played it will know exactly what I'm talking about. If Thor, and I'm not talking about the visuals of Thor. If the kind of troubled mind of Thor and the resorting to drink nature of Thor taken from the game was how he played it in Endgame and how they played it in Endgame, I think we'd have been in store for a fucking fantastic Hulk. Thor. I think the issue was, and I also don't think I love Korg. He's great, but I think the inclusion of him didn't help the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think straight away they're playing Fortnite. He's got it becomes a bit of a mess because you're like, okay, what am I getting from this? Am I getting like comedy Guardians vibes, or am I getting he's actually like had a proper shit and he wants his revenge? I
mean, for once I think that was probably the moment where they should have turned into a more serious Thor. Like this should have been the moment that guy that we get Thor Ragnarok Thor, which in its own kind of like singularity as a movie brings out something new, something fresh, and something enjoyable, I think, and something generally a good movie. But I think that was the moment. If we wanted to see a more serious, gutsy, fantasy-based Thor, that's kind of true maybe to Nordic kind of heritage and culture as well, like going for that, leaning into that a little bit more, and like cutting away the Taika kind of themes. But yeah, maybe, I don't know.